Folks, I appreciate the opportunity. The first thing I want you to know is I live in far southwest Oklahoma, about 5 hours from here. I'm having a great time. This flow of water, I make my living growing irrigated cotton, and I manage an irrigation district that waters 50,000 acres. This flow of water that you're sitting on today would fill the lake that we irrigate that 50,000 acres with in 3.5 days. This is an enormous amount of water. This is a resource that, sight unseen, we take it for granted. It's time that we continue developing as we have. I need to pause there just a minute. Again, I'm standing in front of the microphone, so I'm going to talk a while, but I do want to welcome, on behalf of the Oklahoma family farmers and ranchers of Oklahoma Farm Bureau, our neighbors to the north. The Kansas Farm Bureau are here. Their President Rich Felt back here in the purple hat. You'll have to excuse him for being a Kansas fan there. And then the members of the Kansas agriculture community that are here with us, and also the congressional staff members from Kansas. Folks, this is, as you're learning, is a true economic driver. And I can personally attest, I told you I live 5 hours away, but I can personally attest to the fact that my neighbors use these facilities. As you've heard, a truckload of wheat will come up here and a truckload of fertilizer will go back. And we then realize that economic impact, the ability to take this freight break, both in what we sell and what we buy. So speaking directly to the congressional staff members now, this is the type of thing that makes Oklahoma agriculture and Kansas agriculture successful. And if we are going to continue to give agriculture, which drives both of these states, let's don't forget that oil and gas is big in Oklahoma, it's big in Kansas, but agriculture is the backbone. It was what brought both states where they are today, and it's what will keep them moving into the future. We're not going away. But if we're going to keep them successful, we have to continue to give them all of the abilities to be profitable. And this is one of the things that does it. We need to continue doing this. So as a good Oklahoman would always say, you may be on the McClellan-Kerr, but in reality, we think of it as the Kerr-McClellan because of Senator Kerr, a man who had true vision, was able to not just dream, but then put that dream into a vision and make that vision go to work. So again, I talked about being out of sight, out of mind, and taking things for granted. This did not sprout overnight. It took true leadership. It took people willing to go to work and make this happen. All of us are sitting here today resting on the shoulders of our forefathers. Anybody disagree? And we are way past the time that we take up the banner, that we take up the mantle, that we start carrying that torch of what's next. Many of you have always had these conversations. It's too damn hard to do today. The environmentalist or whoever it may be will push back too hard. I would tell you that many hills are pretty steep, but they're worth climbing. Additionally, many of you have been to D.C. and have read the papers and listened to the news, and the environment in D.C. is changing. The attitude in D.C. is changing, and the time is getting ripe. So again, speaking directly back to the congressional delegations, it's time that these states work together to support not only this, but additional new expansions of water development in both states. Oklahoma Farm Bureau, Kansas Farm Bureau, I'm going to speak for you, Rich, will certainly be there at all times helping. It's crucial, it's critical that we continue with the dream and the visions of our forefathers and carry these to fruition. So I just end here, which is water is the critical building block. Without that, nothing else happens. Again, I told you where I came from, and we are just getting ready to start our irrigation season. That 135,000 acre feet, which again, 3 days, that's what you're on right here, will produce about $70 to $80 million of profit just for the farmers themselves, just for the landowners. That's not taking into account all of the economic impacts that it grows with from that point on. Continuing to develop water is the answer for Oklahoma's economy, Kansas economy, this region's economy, and we will continue to be the breadbasket. So thank you for your time. I'm having a great time on the river. If I had a fishing pole, it would be even better, but having a good time. Thank you for the opportunity.